All right, welcome to Noodletown News. So with COVID-19 hitting US and medical supplies running low, the Trump administration decided on March 29th to launch an initiative called Project Airbridge, allowing the federal government to work with private companies to bring lots of medical supplies from other countries to the United States. Sounds fancy, right? I mean, what can possibly go wrong, right, Jackie?
Mm.
An update by UPS on Globe Newswire, it is said that it is utilizing its expertise in logistics solutions to support Project Airbridge, both on the front of receiving the medical supplies internationally and then distributing it to hospitals and hotspots around the United States. But one important steps detail were conveniently missed by both the private companies tapped by Airbridge and the federal governments. And it's that all the states have to engage in a bid war against each other. And only the highest bidder will win the supplies.
Wait. So from a humanitarian standpoint, why would they choose an auction as the method of doing
Well, like
this?
auction is just the easiest and most lucrative way to pick out who to sell the stuff to. It's kind of like selling your house. If you got multiple offers, you're going to give it to the highest bidder, right?
Yeah.
But the FEMA spokeswoman said that FEMA realizes that prioritizing PPE deliveries to COVID hotspots can have the unintended consequences of disrupting the regular supply chain deliveries to other areas of the country that are also preparing for the coronavirus. So like that's a political response to why they want to use auction. Yeah, but the funny thing is that when FEMA was asked why they excluded smaller medical supply companies from getting a piece of the pie, like the spokeswoman said that, oh, the White House told them to only work with the biggest suppliers because, quote unquote, this allows critical supplies to be sent to communities with the greatest needs.
What?
So it seems like they're just juggling between these two arguments, like based on the question they were asked. Yeah, ideally, what normal people originally thought this project will go is that the federal government will tap into the expertise in logistics from like delivery companies like UPS and stuff to optimize the transport and also subsidize shipping because like we're using taxpayers' money to pay for those expensive ass flights, and that can in turn speed up the whole delivery process and also lower costs because rather than like having each state going out to buy their own like they're just doing one bulk shipment for like the whole country like and then doing it regularly, right? Like and then hopefully that can pass down the benefits to the end consumers here, which are the states and the frontline workers, right? But yeah, that wasn't the case at all. Yeah, on April 1st, Illinois governor stepped up and complained right away that they're still struggling to get the essential medical supplies to frontline workers because they have to bid against other states. And sometimes the contractors will even cancel contracts in order to sell the medical supplies to the federal government. And like the New York governor said, it's like being on eBay with 50 other states and the federal government too. So like you have to bet against the federal government too, which has a much deeper pocket than any other states and can also print money on demand. Like
Ooh.
you can't beat that.
Whoa.
Well, and yeah, on this New York Times post published on April 6th, Colorado's governor complained about how he thought his state secured 500 ventilators before they were quote unquote swept up by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Yeah, the governor of California also said that it was like the wild, wild west. And then Kentucky Hospital Association's head of board also wrote to Congress saying how four shipments of protective gear supposed to be delivered to the hospitals were taken by FEMA. And then private companies that were not on the list of the contractors on Project Airbridge, like they also talked about how the feds actually seized the shipments that they were about to purchase, which included 20 million masks. So on one hand, Trump is telling every state to like get their stuff themselves, and then instead of offering to help, the federal government is actually making it more difficult to force you to participate in this like bidding war because frankly, the companies at the hospitals where usually go to buy the medical supplies from, like they're either part of the Airbridge now, so you have to purchase from Airbridge, or they have too little inventory now to satisfy the current demand. And yeah, on April 16th, Los Angeles Times published a report on how Project Airbridge only helped the favored medical companies to profit that are already making tons of money before the crisis, which completely fucks the smaller medical companies by leaving them out of the supply chain. And the news that came out on USA Today on April 18th revealed that a ventilator, which basically determines if a COVID-19 patient with severe symptoms lives or dies, like that machine alone had seen the typical price tag go up more than 500% from the usual $12,000 to $65,000. And then the former Assistant Secretary of Homeland Security that coordinated the federal and local responses to disasters such as the H1N1 pandemic, like she came out and commented on how the negotiations for the supplies were basically brutal. The federal government wasn't seizing supplies anymore, but they were basically just coming in and offering a higher bid to the seller, and then the seller is willing to break the contract with the state because it will get a crap ton more money from selling to the federal
Wild
government
Wild
instead.
West.
Oh, and that reminds me. Like, I also came across this headline recently, published on April 8th. Frontline healthcare workers trying to sue the Chinese government because they think they're holding the PPEs. Yeah. Oh, and here's the nail in the coffin for those people so brainwashed that they believe the federal government will never backstab its states like that. Like, it's never going to backstab its homies
Hmm.
like that. Like, during a video conference between Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker and Trump, Baker jokingly commented, "Oh, I've got a feeling that if someone has a chance to sell to you and to sell to me, I'm going to lose on every one of those." And then to which Trump replied, "Prices are always a component of that. Also, and maybe that's why you lost to the feds." Okay, that's probably why. Yeah, and that's the exact words from Trump. Yeah, all in all, my take from the news is that Trump is trying to have the federal government monopolize the medical supply market, inflating the prices through forcing bid wars between states and even against the feds themselves, so they can benefit from the exponentially increased profit margins. So yeah, they're just trying to benefit from a global pandemic. No big deal.
Whoa.
Oh, and the cherry on top of this is that Trump's son-in-law Jared Kushner is one of the guys leading this project Airbridge, and I'll be leaving you to do more digging yourselves on if that's a good thing or a bad thing, and maybe you can let us know in the comment section. All right, that's it for today. Talk to you next time.